Hi, friends. I'm Katie.
And I'm Lauren. And welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today, we're recapping and chatting about Bob's Burgers, Season 8, Episode 10, The Secret Ceramics Room of Secrets, and Episode 11, Sleeping with the Frenemy. But we always start off with a synopsis, so here's Episode 10, The Secret Ceramic Room of Secrets. It's nearly the Belcher's grandma's birthday, and the parents tell the kids they have to try harder on her handmade gifts this year. Instead of making the gifts themselves, the kids decide to search for the lost ceramics room in their school. The ceramics room was supposedly closed up after a fire with all the creations locked inside. With the help of an alumni, they find out there really was a ceramics room and go through difficult obstacles until they find it. Mr. Frann tries to stop them and admits he cheated in the school election right before the fire and gives terrible advice to the kids. The Belcher kids realize they shouldn't use the ceramics from the lost room and make their grandparents handmade gifts. Meanwhile, Teddy sets up his side hustle at Bob's Burgers and annoys Bob. After a chaotic lunch of dealing with Teddy and his quirks, he tells Bob he thinks it's a bad idea for them to work in the same place.
Yeah, when you were saying before about the stupidest B plot, I'm like, I hope you're talking about the first one.
I am talking about the first one. Just me fully
good.
admitting my feelings of this episode before I even talk about it.
Same.
But what did you get for the vacant storefront?
Forget about it. Hard drive erasing.
It's so good.
That's such a good one.
It's so good because it works on multiple levels.
It does.
And for the pest control truck,
Captain Underant's Pest Control.
And that's for the, book Captain Underpants.
Mm-hmm.
Look, my kids love Dogman and Cat Kid, but they won't touch Captain Underpants, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no, I didn't read Captain Underpants as a kid.
I didn't
there was
either.
another one that had like a baby superhero.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was called, but I remember that one.
I think that's the one I read.
I didn't read any of them.
I did. It was that, and then like at some point, I guess because I was the appropriate age when the books came out.
Yeah,
I read the first couple of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, which is a different author, but
yeah,
same vibe.
But how many burgers did you get?
It was 4 this time.
Yes.
Both episodes had a decent amount of burgers, if I remember correctly.
Like, we get to have fun with burgers right now, which has not happened much recently. Like, the past few episodes have not had a lot of burgers.
No. We have the sous vide and the Banshees burger.
Yes. Play on the band, the Suisse and the Banshees.
Gotcha. We have the full head of heirloom tomato burgers, which is that's an eye rhyme, or I guess it's an eye pun.
Yeah, because it's a phrase on a full head of hair.
Yeah, but you don't pronounce the H in the heirloom tomato.
Yeah.
The what's Kalamata you burger?
Oh, play on the phrase, what's the matter with you?
What's a motto? Nothing. What's a motto with you? And the we bought a zucchini burger.
And that's supposed to be a play on the movie We Bought a Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some fun facts. Yeah. Jean refers to Teddy as Theodore, another strong implication that is Teddy's full first name, because Tina also called him that in her Lady Chatterteeth's Lover essay in the Gale Tales. So this is the second time we're seeing that being used, which would make sense. Teddy is a very, very common nickname for someone who's named Theodore and who wants to constantly say Theodore.
Unless you're a chipmunk, I don't think anyone wants that.
Exactly. Bob appears to be serving a customer strawberry ice cream, whereas the ice cream machine usually only serves vanilla and chocolate.
I did not notice that. Okay.
It's pink. Rose, our guest star, refers to having made some Monchichi mugs. Monchichi is a line of Japanese stuffed toys that were made into a cartoon series that aired in 1983, the same year that the ceramics room burnt down.
Okay.
So, like, people have been into Japanese stuff forever.
Yeah.
Well, even in the 80s.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then Mr. Frann said it had been 35 years since 1983, making it 2018. This means the series now takes place in a more recent year, much like Seaplane, because this is one of those cartoons that just kind of repeats. It's groundhogging constantly. Yeah. So I find that interesting. Effect. Which I like, though, because they still keep things sometimes. Like the ice cream machine is kept. We'll see later on where other things are kept. Like, so even though it's like it is a Groundhog Day type situation, they still keep changes sometimes. So it's kind of cool.
Well, like The Simpsons does that also. And like their thing is like one thing that'll definitely people notice if you watch enough episodes is the style of the TV in their house changes as the years go on. Basically,
Yep.
it was always a little bit behind, kind of furthering the thing of like that the Simpsons don't have a lot of money. Like they're a little late to get new technology, but eventually like the TV goes from like rabbit ears to like just a regular tube TV to like a flat screen TV kind of thing. So like the technology does change just very slowly.
It's the same with like Family Guy and Bob's Burger, not Bob's Burgers. We're talking about Bob's Burgers. The same with Family Guy and American Dad. There's too many cartoons, and with they do the same thing. Like you can, because now it's like a flat screen for whenever they show the TV, on Family Guy, but it definitely used to be a tube TV, 100%. So I like that they do it with electronics.
Yeah, no, it's a good way to do it. Sorry, my brain just went to an episode of like the Simpsons, like an old one where they got like the elementary school got their first computer, and the way they show the superintendent that that they have the technology is they want the Ralph, the very dumb kid, is him doing something like a spelling game on it, and then what he says to them is, "Hi Lisa, hi Super Nintendo Chalmers, I'm learning."
Oh my goodness,
that's such a great Super Nintendo Chalmers. That's one of my favorite lines ever.
That's a good one. Speaking of lines, how many do you have?
7, I think I count.
I have 8.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I also have 8.
All right. So who's going first?
I'll start.
Okay.
What's a kiln? You never been to Color Me Mine? That's where I colored you yours.
One noodle on a string does not a necklace make.
I disagree personally. If it's a weird, creepy legend, then it's probably true.
It all happened forever ago in like the 80s.
It's not coffee, but I guess a sip wouldn't kill you.
I wrote down that too. It was my next one. And I wrote, I've never met a librarian that hates his job as much as Ambrose does.
Ambrose didn't bother me this much, and it's because his ambivalence wasn't toward the library.
That's fair.
It's when his ambivalence is specifically towards the library that I'm like, I don't like you. But this was just, sure, blow up a wall. That's fine.
It's like, it's just school property. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, he's the cool librarian, but the problem is he doesn't like books.
Mm-hmm.
That's where kids come from? No, that's where kids end up. If they're my kids, we make piñatas of ourselves.
That one too.
I did enjoy that the kid too was like, your parents don't do this with you?
Yeah. Like, he's learning that his house is the weird one.
Yeah.
Lunchtime's no good for me. I eat lunch then.
Was it just me, or did he hardly have any cat hair on his sweater today? Oh, it's all on his back.
I wish I brought my gong so we could jam. The one day I don't bring it.
Tin snips, like cutting paper, but about a million times harder. No, like tools suck sometimes. Like I've done so much growing up with the dad that I have.
Yep.
Yeah, no, this shit hurts.
I believe it. What's all this cocaine doing at school? Throw it away.
I wrote that one too. So my last one is now, Teddy, you're the dangerous uncle we always wanted.
And my last one is, this one has a certain je ne sais quoi.
Oh, I love it. Great lines.
Mm-hmm.
Boring B-plot.
Not a great episode.
I love the kids and all their shenanigans and everything that they really get into.
Mm-hmm.
But everything is ruined by Teddy.
No, because it's a case of it's a lot of Teddy and his usual Teddy bit, but also it's like I say this a lot. It has no connection whatsoever to the A plot. It's just this is what the adults are doing while the kids are trying to deface school property.
Essentially, because I did enjoy the kids' storyline, but
yes,
every time we went back to the restaurant,
way too much work.
That was a lot of work. Like, you really could, like, did they need to make that big of a hole? Like, they could just squeeze Louise through.
But even still, it's the fact of they just went to way more work than it would have taken them to make half decent paper crafts in art class.
Like she made a pinch pot. Like, you can just get air dry clay, which is actually pretty inexpensive and can find on clearance quite often. Like, kids love that stuff.
There's no telling how much Edith would charge them for that.
Do what? Sorry, it broke up.
There's no telling how much Edith would charge them for that.
Oh, you're right. They actually get to shop small, and Edith the price gouges.
Yeah.
Well, no, because Bob mentions that he could just go to the actual like big craft store instead of Edith's store when he's in it one time. So technically, they could go to the other craft store if they wanted to save some money. Which I am one for supporting small business, but it's Edith.
Yeah.
Edith has a vendetta.
She's allowed to go to Michael's instead.
Exactly. But apart from, just Teddy being Teddy, R.I.P. Joanne's.
Mhm.
I enjoy the kids plot. It's fun.
Yeah.
They have a good time. They're going they're taking, I love how the whole time you can tell Tina's definitely the oldest because she's just constantly like, we could just make something. It'd be easier. She's constantly
Yeah.
just being like, I'm going to support and help my siblings in this endeavor, mostly Louise. But she just keeps dropping. We could just stop doing this now and make something. We could, because
Yeah.
I think at one point she's like, we could have made like 5-10 things by now
Mhm.
while you're cutting open a locker. Like, we didn't have to do all this. So
Yeah.
she's our
For
voice
some
of reason.
She was a voice of reason. For some reason, when they were chiseling through the wall with the pen and the staple, I'm like, at first I was like, wow, a staple and a pen should not do that. Their plan about like literally just of chiseling through the wall. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
why is this giving me the vibes that line from Monsters Inc. When Mike Wazowski is like, he's planning how they're gonna get Boo out, like using mainly spoons. Like it's giving that vibe.
That's what it is. All of Louise's plans are just like a little Mike Wazowski
Yeah,
in her ears.
Louise is Mike Wazowski.
That's what keeps the ears up.
Yeah,
Mike and all his
so,
energy.
mm-hmm. I mean, it's why her head is so big. It's full of secrets. I made a Mean Girls reference. I was on a live recently, and I think I said this last week.
Mm-hmm.
And someone was like, "Oh, Mean Girls reference." I was like, "I saw it in theaters. It's not like a deep cut when I do it.
Look, if it's a millennial saying it, it's in our blood.
It's part of my DNA. Is Mean Girls references, just in general.
I mean, the
Like
amount of, if you can't meet a millennial that doesn't understand, the limit does not exist.
exactly. On Wednesdays we wear pink.
Yeah.
Like no, I didn't learn it from the musical. I learned it from the movie that I've seen a
I
million
have
times.
a big lesbian crush on you. Janice is the best character in Mean Girls, and I stand by that.
She was, but only the truly devoted remember the full version of the line because it got edited for all the TV viewings of when God invented like the Remington rifle to hunt the dinosaurs and the homosexuals.
Yep.
Like TV cuts off that last bit.
Yep, they sure do. That's not how my homeschool works. I'm just saying.
Good. We don't abide by censorship here. We watch the full movie.
We watch the full movie. Yes, at homeschool, I'm showing my children Mean Girls. Here's your film education of our life.
You know what? It's a cultural
That
thing.
we will discuss when my child is like 16.
When she's old enough, but also, if you wanted to do more, compare and contrast exercises, compare the musical movie to the regular movie.
Oh my God. So she
That's
can
an
rip the
adaptation.
musical apart too?
Yes.
Because there's only like maybe 2 songs I like in that one.
I want to hear how your preteen is going to destroy the musical.
The one who loves musicals.
It's not my favorite. There's a couple of songs I like just because they're kind of earwormy, but like
For me, it's I'd Rather Be Me. I'm obsessed with the Broadway performance and with I don't want to butcher her name, but the lovely lady that plays Moana.
Ali Carvalho.
Thank you. She's Janice, and that's
Yes.
the only reason I would rewatch the musical is simply to watch her as
Mhm.
Janice. Like, she does a great job at it.
Yeah, I'll admit, when I do listen to the sound, if I do listen to any of the songs from it, it's the Broadway versions, not the movie versions.
I'll listen to the movie version of that one song.
I listen to "Sexy" just because it's an
funny.
earworm. It's a fun song. And then I like "Meet the Plastics," like the full version, not the one again, not for the one from the movie because they
Yep.
just cut it down to just the one verse, but mainly because it's just a really well done song. I love because I love when songwriters put stuff on top of each other like that, and it works really well. But also, if you did not know this, fun fact: Erica Henningsen, who played Charlie in Hazbin Hotel, was the original Katie on Broadway.
Yep. See, and we love her.
We do, and she's on Broadway. She's in a show that will be opening soon with Jonathan Groff.
Lauren, you know how boring this episode was for us?
Extremely. I do have a note in this episode.
We're talking about Mean Girls.
We are. I have a note here that's pertinent to the episode.
Okay.
Kind of. So the alumna that they go to talk to, Rose Reynolds.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure they pulled that name out of thin air, but it's funny that that's the name that they use because Rose Reynolds is also the name of an actor who's going to be in season 7 of Once Upon a Time.
Really?
She plays Alice.
Oh, I find that interesting. I like
and
that.
I also double checked. I'm like, is this her actual name? And yeah, it is.
That's actually really cool.
So, fun fact.
All right, then. You're pulling the fun facts for this, and I'm. It's my episode.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
I'm a breath of facts that no one asked for. Like that's why we have this podcast.
Which is so funny because for me, that's like a breath of fresh air because we've had many discussions. Like I like being told random fun facts. I like someone who has intelligence, things like that. So it's always like I get to hang out with somebody who has the same like brainwave as me.
Yeah,
and it's nice.
Well, it's the current TikTok trend that is like no, because when like it's everybody, it's the caption is like no, when you have the so and so who's the fun fact person, and the sound that they keep using is the world according to Kunk thing that was like the ancient Egyptians believed that the most significant thing you could do in your life was die. Like that kind of is me.
Oh, same. And that's why we work so well together.
Yep.
Because I'm sure. See, I have new coworkers this season that I'll be getting to be around, and they don't know me yet.
Yeah. Well, I just spent time with my coworkers like in person, and like the more we do it, the more we all get to know each other and we understand our personalities. But like, there's a couple of us that are like the fun facty kind of people, which makes the other ones just kind of sit back and watch.
Which is a good time. You need both.
We have fun. And it's always about different things too, which is always fun.
See, and I think Bob and Teddy are just too different because I feel like Teddy just wanted to be able to enjoy his lunch and have people around him because he's so lonely.
Yeah.
And it didn't do well.
No, as someone, I work from home and I prefer not to work remotely from other locations if I can help it. Like other people go like, "Oh, you should like work from like a coffee shop or something," and I'm like, no, why would I do that? But but I understand for people that like to be around people that working by yourself can be a little, jarring or just it can almost be more distracting because like you need like other things going on around you, which I get that. But towards the end of it, I was like, no, Teddy, you don't get to break up with Bob in this situation.
No,
that was not Teddy's decision to make.
None. Like,
you
and Bob should have, and Bob told him no. It was Linda who was like, no, it's fine. So I fully like Bob did try to like make the stance of like, you really shouldn't be doing that here.
Yeah.
Because, that was a whole dumpster fire. I am glad the kid, like, it was a lesson to be taught with the episode. The kids learned, well, Louise
learned her lesson.
Trying to lead. She leads the pack, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
But Louise 100% learned her lesson, which is a good thing. So all in all, just, it's an episode.
It's an episode that we watched.
It is. And it's not one that I skip. But it is one if, like, I need a bathroom break. I don't pause it when Teddy comes on the screen. Like, I just run to the bathroom real quick. I'm like, I know what happens next. I'll be right back. Well, it's one of those.
It's like when I told you I started watching Grey's Anatomy. That's a show that I don't have to pause ever.
Yeah.
Like, I could leave it on the TV because also from where my TV is now situated, I could leave it on while I'm cooking. And, like, maybe I'll hear every other word.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So what did you rate this one?
I got 7s for plot and character because it was like, again, I liked the kids' storyline a lot better than and the fact that like they learned their lesson, whatever. But there was also just the disconnect in Teddy in general. It got a 6 for personal, so it's got a 20.
I gave it 7s across the board, so it's only 21 for me.
Fair.
Like I said, the Teddy scenes are just your trip to the bathroom if you need to, or and let me go grab a snack. I'm gonna go refill my water because they're also like his scenes were much shorter.
Yeah.
The scenes were longer on the A plot, thankfully.
That's the thing. When it comes to a show like this, like I was saying with Once Upon a Time, with how like, they have it, it makes sense how it's been kind of arranged so there's not so much going on with the backstory because it's all kind of just informing the main plot line. But when like it's a 20-minute TV show, I feel like the B plot should either be significant enough that you don't feel like you have to go to the bathroom, or they should just omit it entirely because they're capable of doing that.
Well, it makes me think of like Family Guy cutscenes. Make it just something that's funny that's going off at Bob's Burgers. Or like literally just give me a scene of Linda and Bob doing their jobs. Like just give me the restaurant, Bob cooking, Linda serving, and it's just a normal day at the restaurant. Which I know is the point of the show is like there's never really a normal day at Bob's Burgers, but like there has to be from time to time just a day that they're just like, we worked. The kids had all this chaos happen. Like have it such a huge chaotic episode for the kids, and then you single in on mom and dad working, and they're just doing their job. That to me is hilarious. Like and shows the dichotomy of life because there's a lot of days the kids have a great time. They're having all this chaos, and for me and my husband, we're cooking, we're cleaning, we're taking care of everything. Like nothing fun and exciting, and that's okay. Bob's Burgers, like people, listen to us.
occasionally, like I know, I did my whole video series. Like fans don't know what they want until they see it, and then they get it. Like, oh no, not like this. But I do think this is a case of like sometimes it is interesting just to see like that generally average day.
Yeah.
Like no one wants to see my general average day, which is just me sitting in front of a computer screen for 8 hours. Like there are days that I don't leave this apartment.
There are technically days that I have watched you just sit in front of your computer for 8 hours, though.
I'm sure it's fascinating.
Because usually we don't shut up.
Well, yeah. So usually, because when you do that, it's more fun for that. It's more fun with what I'm talking about. Like we're having commentary on something, or you're watching me yell at my email for no reason.
Which is always a wonderful time.
Because my job makes no sense.
Well, now we have episode 11, Sleeping with the Frenemy. It's the last day of school leading into spring break, and Tina plans to try and get her Thunder Girl Something Thunderful badge. Tammy starts bragging about her family's upcoming spring break cruise, but she misses her boat and they won't turn around for her. Tina insists Tammy stay with them until her parents return home and hopes she earns her Thunderful badge. Tammy creates a lot of trouble for the Belchers and she starts crushing on a Beefot. Tammy struggles to communicate with this new crush, so Tina takes over. She then becomes Tammy's mouth for her and struggles to help her with their crush while Tammy continues to be a brat to the Belchers. Tammy is finally nice for a change, and Tina gets to kiss that Beefot. Linda collects all of Gene's baby teeth, and when he loses his last tooth, and it is immediately stolen by a seagull. Gene and Bob try to get a tooth to replace the last one, but eventually have to admit to Linda they don't have his last tooth for her. Only for Linda to admit she doesn't have the full collection anymore anyways. I could do without all the things with the teeth. I don't do teeth.
I'm with you.
And what did you get for the vacant storefront?
The Wizard of Gauze, new and used bandages.
It's the used that
it's the used.
Why?
Like, Wizard of Gauze is a good pun. It's the used bandages.
Take out the used and it'd be great.
Yep.
And the pest control truck.
They termite be giants exterminators.
So that is a play on the band They Might Be Giants. And on October 10th, 2024, the rock band They Might Be Giants posted a screenshot of the pest control truck that is a pun on their name. So like
nice.
The band knows, they've seen it, they've shared it, which is always a fun thing when it's like somebody gets to share that I made it. It's like when you make it to Jeopardy.
Yeah.
People are like, I was a Jeopardy clue or I was a Jeopardy answer or something like that. This is kind of on board that like I made it into a Bob's Burgers pun. Like those are great achievements in life.
Speaking of Jeopardy real fast before we keep going, there was, because I see like the TikTok videos occasionally that's like an entire category, and there was one that was like bad. Like it was like the point of it was like short phrases that you would use to Google a TV show, but like badly.
Ooh.
But there was one that I got way too quickly off of it was like $600 worth. It was like a not
like a bigger one.
It wasn't easy, but it was in the middle. But the first one was biscuit recipe.
Biscuit recipe. Fried green tomatoes?
Think different type of biscuit.
Oh, shit. Oh, Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Look, I wasn't wrong either way, though.
No, you weren't. Because it was like biscuit recipe, something else soccer. So like, there was something else in there, but I saw biscuit recipe. I went, oh, what is Ted Lasso? That was the answer. I'm like,
I've been rewatching Ted Lasso recently. Ever since they announced the next season,
4,
I'm watching. I'm on season 2 right now.
I'll start at some point.
And I'm still laughing and crying through it. That's the thing. Like, it's such a good show. This is my second time watching through, and I'm crying and laughing all over again.
Well, it doesn't matter how many times I see the same clips. Every time I see the same, I can watch the clip of Rebecca saying like, oh, you're mature enough, all right? You're nearly 17. You're having a baby. What are you, a character from the fucking Bible? I watch this as many times as I want to, and it's still funny.
I just finished the Christmas episode with her where she takes Ted all over the place and it cheers him up, and then she ends by singing to everybody at
that needs to be on Spotify, that version of it.
That so version needs to be so much, like, because she sings multiple times through the show.
Yeah, and even the version that she does with Michael Bublé, like that was part of his Christmas special. That's also not available just to listen anywhere.
Really?
Like, it's not her, but just singing "Baby Please Come Home" is so good.
I love her so much. That's why I've been rewatching. I was like, there's so much bad in the world. I'm turning Ted Lasso back on.
There's so much bad in the world. Let's just stare at Hannah Waddingham.
That's the answer to everything.
It solves all of, not unlike Linda's thing of alcohol doesn't solve problems. Staring at Hannah Waddingham solves
all problems. I've seen people that are like, we just need Hannah Waddingham following around certain politicians yelling shame.
Yes.
I was like, I will pay money for this. How do we make this happen?
Unfortunately, she doesn't have her shame bell anymore. They gave it to her, but she auctioned it off at some point.
Oh, was it for charity?
Yeah.
Okay. I would have. That's my first assumption. She wouldn't do that unless it were for charity.
No, I saw an interview recently. Like I don't know how recent the clip was, but I saw an interview. I watched it recently where she explained what it was that she was
Okay.
auctioning it off for. She auctioned it off for like a lot of money.
That's good, though, because that
Yeah.
means it went somewhere that needed it.
Mm-hmm.
So how many burgers did you get?
I have 3 and 1 that I didn't get the whole thing of.
So they don't actually have that one listed. So I think
Okay.
it's not a complete burger, and there wasn't enough of it to play off of to figure out what it was.
Okay, so it was like the turn the blank around burger is what I had written down.
Yeah, it's pretty much what they have. It's not fully visible, obscured by Bob's head.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, sorry. So it's 2.5. Sorry.
Yeah, 2.5 because
I
that one.
miscounted. We have the olive what she's having burger.
And that's a play on the line. I'll have what she's having from when Harry met Sally.
And the Rosemary's Baby Spinach burger.
Can we not?
Yes, so much, but also I was like, I get the pun. The pun is on baby spinach, but I would have assumed the pun was going to be on rosemary.
Right? Like that can go either way.
Yeah.
So I do know who voiced Brett. I don't think I even need to.
No, that was Andy Samberg.
Okay, I don't even have to go into that or who he is. Everyone should know who Andy Samberg is, and if you don't, just look up "Dick in a Box."
It's my dick in a box. I saw when they did the Lonely Island concert tour. I saw them live.
Oh,
when they were in New York City. It was so good because
I'm realizing that's very millennial thing to say. Most people probably know him from like he's done SNL, he's done Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah,
but for people our age, Dick in a Box.
Yeah, but it was so good because the concert they didn't get Justin Timberlake, but it was them. But then it was Chris Parnell.
Ruin the tour.
I know. Chris Parnell was also there. But then,
I love that.
I think because we were in New York City, Seth Meyers he was also there. But that's because we were in New York City.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was so good. He was like the opening act.
I love that. I'm jealous. Oh my goodness. See the things you get when you live near a big city.
You live near New York City specifically, I think.
Specifically, because I don't get the same thing living near Atlanta whatsoever. No. I say near. I'm far enough that I don't mind driving. Although I went to a book event once where I got to do like a meet and greet with authors, and the amount of like other, I guess you could call them influencers in the room. Mm-hmm. Everybody's talking about where they're from, and they're all from that area. And I'm like, I drove like an hour and a half to get here, and half the girls were like, "Why would you drive that far?" And I'm like, "It's Jamison Shea. It's Farida. What do you mean? Why would I drive that far?" Mm-hmm. We have amazing authors. They were all like Emily Henry readers, meeting a horror author and Farida, who's done some amazing YA thrillers. And I'm just kind of sitting here. I'm only not saying Farida's last name. She wrote the Ace of Spades. Let me put that out there. Only because I truly do not want to butcher her name. She's a wonderful human being. And I would have to see her probably for 5 minutes with like translator to understand how to pronounce it accurately. And I do not want to do that to her because she is wonderful.
That is absolutely fair. Quick thing. Them back. I got an email the other day that I only just saw because it was sent to a different email than I don't always check. I got offered a copy of the new edition of Gay the Pray Away. I didn't have to ask for it.
That's amazing.
They just emailed me. I was like, yes. The new cover is so
happy for you.
It was
you're fine. We're happy news. So the title of this episode is a reference to the 1991 movie Sleeping with the Enemy.
Yes.
The plot resembles the Edmond Rostand's play Cyrano de Bergerac.
Which they mention towards the end.
They do mention, both later mention the pun titles as Cyrano de Bergerac and Yes de Bergerac, respectively. Yes. This is the first episode where Tammy appears without wearing eyeshadow.
Interesting.
Which I thought was weird. Because she took a shower.
Yeah.
This episode first aired on the guest star Jenny Slate's 36th birthday.
Nice.
Which is fun because it's a Tammy episode.
Mm-hmm.
The coffee shop that Dr. Yap meets Bob and Jean in presumably belongs to the same chain as the coffee shop seen in OT, the outside toilet, as the employees' aprons and baseball caps are identical.
Okay, then.
So they're welcome back in there after bringing their own toilet.
That's good.
And I thought you might enjoy this. The rabbi conducting Tammy and Brett's wedding in Tina's fantasy is the same rabbi who was at Tammy's bat mitzvah in Mazel Tina, presumably named Rabbi Rosenberg when Tammy calls earlier in that episode.
Which makes sense, because if you have
that's the only rabbi she's seen.
Yeah, it's the only rabbi she knows. Because especially, but also people do they get particular about what rabbi marries them. Like some people, one person.
Really,
one person I know, they somehow got their rabbi out of retirement. Because people like sometimes like you want like the person like that you had a relationship with.
Yeah.
So like say like by the time you're about to get married, like say your rabbi retires, but like you're gonna get married soon, kind of thing. I don't know.
I got married in my mother-in-law's kitchen. I signed a piece of paper.
I won't be having a religious ceremony, so.
Oh, we didn't either. She went, "You want that one?" I was like, "Yep." He's like, "'Cause you want her?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Sign the paper." That
How
was
romantic.
It's an elopement. I was like 6 months pregnant.
Nah, I know.
And now we're about to hit 6 years. I have 8 lines.
I do not have that many.
I don't know why I liked so many lines in this one, but there are some really good ones.
I have 6.
Okay. So I'll go first just because I have more.
Yeah.
Is that the sound you make when you're happy? It's horrible.
We're going to a place where you can stand in 4 states at once. I'm going to stand in California, Hawaii, Canada, and Chicago.
I wrote that. That was my next one. So that's the tooth fairy.
It dissolves so fast. Soda's not good, man.
No offense, but I just don't eat food that's homemade. That line makes my eye twitch.
I hate Tammy so much.
Like, that is such a horrible... No.
Someone made all the food that you eat.
It's all homemade, technically, just not made in your home.
Exactly. I think some of your walls are just wallpaper.
Yeah, how are we going to get through this Tammy week? Drink? Alcohol does not solve problems, Miss Missy. It just makes them go away. I wrote, after that, I wrote, what I used to tell myself, Alex, for 200. Because it does, in fact, make them go away, but only for a moment.
Exactly. That jazz better be damn light, buddy.
Mom's the office flirt. She does get a little grabby at the Christmas party.
I want tidy whitey white.
I'm out too, Brett, of the closet. And I was like, this feels reminiscent.
Yeah. This is a huge mess. She really is.
All right. Hand me that dish loofah. This is a sponge. Sponge. And I love how they're going back and forth. She's like, sponge? What are you saying?
Sponge?
And Linda's just like, sponge.
The lead.
iTunes, I don't need to update you. Keeping teeth is so gross.
Yeah, I was like, do our parents really like this about baby teeth?
Not mine.
Okay. I think my mom might have kept mine, but like she was impressed if I didn't have it.
Teeth gross me out. Like when my kids have a loose tooth and they're running up to me like, look at my loose tooth. I'm all like, go to your dad. Go to your dad. I don't want to see the tooth. I don't want to see any of this experience. I love you more than life itself. I would, do things to protect my children no matter what, except for look at their teeth.
No, I'm with you on that one.
It's
not a thing.
I also wrote bypassing Tammy's brain sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I was like, that's a great plan. Is make sure nothing goes into that brain or out.
Like, I love that. They really did. They're like, cutting off her brain. Just speak. Mm-hmm. The kid not realizing, though, it's Tina talking.
He's not smart.
No. It's Andy Samberg.
It's Andy Samberg. He's therefore not smart. But why can't a knight be Mooney? That's a good question.
The texts were great. I think those were great 13-year-old texts. Mm-hmm. Tina was right. When she jumps up, like, that's a damn good text. Like, she's right.
And it's good, like, especially for her. Like, that's a great dynamic for her. But, maybe we don't like Singing in the Rain, but not with a pre-existing song situation where you just move your mouth and I talk the words. It's harder than lip syncing is harder than it looks. Also, like talking along to something else is also a lot harder than it looks.
Just watch whose line is it anyway. They're professionals, and even they mess up.
Exactly. That's the original. Not that the new one's not funny, but it's missing something.
It's funny when Wayne Brady's there.
Yeah.
If Wayne Brady's not in the episode, we don't tend to watch it. There's just something about him being there that makes it better. Because I love Aisha.
I do too. And when it's the two of them doing something together, it's hilarious.
The amount of times her and Wayne just end up with like really great jokes and she just joins in on him and it's the funniest fucking thing. Because Colin and it's Colin and
Ryan,
thank you. Oh my god. I was like, I've been watching these people since I was like a small child.
I mean, in everyone's defense, were you most likely watching them at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep?
No, my parents would turn it on and be like, this is what we're watching tonight.
Oh, no, in my case, it was only ever like when I couldn't sleep. That's when I would watch it.
We watched it as a family. And then I have turned it on. Like, Steve and I watched it again. And Autumn has watched some of it, but not too much because
It still holds up.
it still holds up, but it's more raunchy than I remember.
Oh, yeah, it was always very raunchy.
It was.
But
That's when I realized it's always been that raunchy, and I'm like, maybe I
Yep.
shouldn't let the kids watch this at this age.
yeah, well, that's why we only could watch it at 3 a.m. when we.
No, my
couldn't sleep.
parents sat us down
Which
as
is my
children
case.
and let me watch that,
Nah.
like Autumn's age.
No, mine. I mean, I don't know if mine would have cared, quite frankly, because the stuff that my parents,
Yeah.
my dad did let me watch, and like it's mostly because he knew that the jokes would go right over my head. Like, "What's up, Doc?"
Yeah.
A lot of jokes that went over my head. Oh, this is something I remembered recently. I never, as a kid, didn't understand it. I do now. My best friend when we were little, she wasn't allowed to watch Grease
Why?
because there are some adult jokes in that movie.
Yeah.
But like, and I'm thinking, as an adult, sure, but as an 8-year-old, I
You
didn't
don't
know what,
see it. You
I
don't
didn't know what
it
any of it
is.
meant.
I just
Like,
remembered today that Rise of the Pink Ladies existed.
Yeah. Like, I didn't, when they're talking about, like the 25-cent insurance policy, I didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah, no, we did not know what that was when we were younger. We do now.
No.
So, Tammy heavy episode.
Yeah. And continuing. So, two things about this, just as a human being, bothered me. Is I don't understand ungrateful house guests
I never will.
as a concept. I don't understand how someone's brain can work that way. I get it's a cartoon. I get it. But also, why on earth would Tammy's parents let her off the boat?
It's Tammy's parents. They do everything she tells them to.
This is true.
He
But,
literally
like,
called her, was like, I have your outfit laid out for you on the bed.
Mhm.
Where are you?
yeah.
Which means they weren't even paying attention to where she was.
No.
But also having the audacity to get off of a cruise ship, which you're not allowed to do.
Nope.
You cannot. I've done it. Like, you can't get off after you get on unless there's like an emergency. Because they didn't have the brand of lip gloss that she wanted.
Like, why didn't she get it before she got on the boat?
Well, as you can see, Tammy is a spoiled brat.
Yeah, I don't understand Tammy as a concept. I don't understand her as like, and I'm aware I'm putting real world logic and manners and lessons on a cartoon character who's designed to be an antagonist all the time, but it's still frustrating.
Have you never met someone like this in person?
Not to this degree.
Okay. I don't think I have to this extent, but I have met people like that in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Like I knew of a girl once who crashed her Mustang as a kid. Like brand new, you just turned 16 Mustang. Parents put it in the shop and bought her a new one.
Oof.
So she had something to drive while the other one was in the shop.
Yeah.
It's on the parents at the end of the day.
No, it absolutely is. I'm going to use the not terrible phrase because there's a phrase that like people like to use, and I'll tell you when we're not recording. But for people listening will understand this. I grew up around a lot of Northern Jersey and Long Island Jewish girls.
See, I have no idea what that means.
I will explain,
and I will
that
take my education off the mic.
I will explain when we're not recording. But for people that understand this area, you know what I mean.
We're just discussing culture. That's all.
That's all that it is.
Yeah, I mean, it is New Jersey.
It is New Jersey. It's like Tammy. She's nothing comes from nothing, right? Like these things.
Yes.
And all comedy, and especially like animated comedy, they're all heightened archetypes, but heightened of things that do exist.
There really are little girls and little children, people that believe this and act like this.
I would say take the movie / the book that it was based on. You're So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah. Take that and bump it up about 5 degrees. That's Tammy.
Yeah, it really is. Thank goodness she didn't dye her hair blonde, though.
Yeah, that would not have looked good.
No, it would not have.
No.
But apart from that, like, I enjoy seeing the family and how they react to Tammy more than anything, I think.
No,
I love
would
that
say that.
Tina was trying to do a good thing and trying to get her badge, and that was the real reason. But then it did get frustrating when she was like, I am meant to be with this guy, not you. You're not even here, technically. And it does prove that looks are not all that matter.
Yeah.
I feel like that's also a message of this episode. It's like, looks it's not all that matters. Like, you do need to be able to actually vibe on a mental level for you guys to actually have a good relationship. Like, you have to have an actual connection, not, ooh, I want to kiss this person.
Exactly.
That's a different type of relationship that's not for children.
Exactly. Yeah, this one I don't have a whole lot to say on this. I'll be quite honest. Like other than the
Yeah.
lines that I pulled out, I'm just like this. I'm just like the thoughts are I hated Tammy
Always.
always and forever. Um,
She has that small moment where you're like, finally, she does the right thing. And in my brain, she immediately gets on her phone. So I'm like, oh, you're just bored.
yeah.
She's just bored with it. It's too much work at that point. So she's like, here, you go.
Mm-hmm.
But her volunteering to work for her is great. But then she goes straight back into the like being herself of like, what's a sponge?
Yeah, it's like it could have been a moment of redemption if it wasn't for the "what's a sponge" line.
Yeah.
So.
Which is a sentence that has now been said.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we say some weird shit sometimes.
We really do. That's forever this podcast.
It's all in the fun. So what did you rate this one?
It got 7s across the board. Like it was
Me
21.
too!
It was perfectly. It was
7s across
serviceable.
the board. That's what this deserves.
Yeah, like this. As I say, this episode is serviceable. Is the best way that I can phrase it. Like this is also like a leave it on in the background, do other things, build a Lego set, not pay attention kind of situation.
Great funny moments from the parents and the family and just their interactions with Tammy. That's like I think with but some of the best parts of this. The watching Tammy be stupid is kind of fun too when she has her moments. Like literally when the phone dies and she's like, I don't know what to say. Run away. Like I will probably I think that's going to be a stem for me for a little while. Sponge. Say it enough and it won't seem like a real word anymore.
It already doesn't seem like a real word. And like as someone who narrates audiobooks, I have to say the same sentence multiple times. There's only so many times I can say a word before it. Like this doesn't feel like English anymore.
See, I hate when that happens though.
Well, because it just makes it harder to get it right.
Because then you're just like, I can't word anymore.
And then I go back to listening to it. I'm like, how many times did I do this one sentence? And my record for the same sentence is 5.
Wow.
I really messed up on that. And this is an issue of like, it's my own writing. So like, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, this is easy. It's harder to read your own writing.
Sponge. Nope, it's not a real word anymore.
Nah, it's gone. Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Once Upon a Time, episode 410, Shattered Sight. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and Blue Sky. And if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Katie and Lauren and edited by Katie.